Hello beautifuls, my name is Epic Treasure and this is a beautiful video tutorial of base 6.0. This one has taken 6 total transformations to make it the amazingly stunning base that it is. If you like what you see, come like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, come join the Discord channel, link in the description below. There's a whole channel just for Palworld. You can ask your questions there and they can be answered. This base has been through so many iterations. It is wild. And this one I've worked on all day and went really down a big rabbit hole. So we'll have a little bit of a tour from on the ground floor and then we'll fly up above and have a little sort of flyover. So as you can see, we've got our beautiful little vendor store here, double vendors. And in the game, you can catch the vendors. So they work as your own salespeople, which is really amazing. And that's just one of the main features. If you haven't built this, you want to jump into All-in-One Base 4.0, which starts from scratch. So you don't have to build all the other ones. Just go from 4.0 and then move on, which 5.0 includes this massive tower. And I'll explain why that's there. But everything in this game has a purpose, in this build has a purpose. From early game to end game, it has end game in mind because of these breeding facilities. It's actually got more breeding pens now than what it had before, which is very surprising to me because I thought I'd have to sacrifice them, but I didn't. I got to add more. So again, it's perfect for early game because floor plan wise, it allows you to expand as you level up. So early on in the game, you won't have glass, you'll have wood. So you can lay wood down to start with. And then as you level up, then you can change it to stone. But at the end of the day, the base layout will enable you to grow and fit everything in. In my other builds, I, for example, made rooms that were too small for the production lines. So people would have the tier 2 production lines. They'd be like, Epic, I can't fit it in there. So this build has everything possibly in mind. It has everything you need in Palworld. The only thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have quartz. And none of the bases have quartz except for a quartz base. There is a video tutorial on my channel explicitly for the quartz base, which is an absolutely beautiful little snow cabin spot. It is the best place in the game for it. There's at this time, no quartz, buildable mining objects, like these these ore things over here that I placed down. So this covers everything. The reason why it's an end game base is that Palworld predominantly relies on pals, obviously, not just for your party, but also for your base, how they work, how they function, what are the features that the pals have. They have their own little passives, for example. So Dragon here we can see has these passive skills. So Swift gives you 30% increased movement speed, and so on and so forth. So when you're breeding pals in this game, you're trying to breed the best passives between those pals, right? You're trying to get the best of the best. So that's why there's so many breeding pens here, because it's getting those perfect rolls. And also we can see here that essence machine is down there too. And the essence machine basically allows you to sacrifice the pals that are kind of fail and power up the really good ones. So you have one, Dragon, and then you'll sacrifice 4 sort of duds and it will power that Dragon up to the star rating. So I'm not going to get too deep into that, but as we can see, Anubis here has up the top left only 4 stars empty, right? But once you fill that up, that makes Anubis level up. There's other ways to level up through the statues and stuff, but I'm not going to get into that so much. But you understand why there's so many breeding pens in this. It is specifically to get that perfect team. So the perfect fighting team and also the perfect working team. So that's the main purpose of this, with the end game in mind anyway. This base also features crude oil. We can see them over here, these two pumping machines. Yes, you can put two machines on the crude oil spots, but they will probably patch that, and so I'm not going to include any tutorial as such at all for such a thing like that. So the other things in this base that we see are the tier 2 production benches, which are here under the wood section down there. They are the butchery machine, basically the disassembly line. We have the weapons one there. We have the sphere, the tier 2 sphere bench, and the production line. We also have the breeding pens as one under there. There's another one there. There's another one there. Another one there. Another one down there. Another one down there. And another one down there. So they're very important to have. You can have 50 pals in a base. You just need to go into your settings if you want. This base has no mods to it at all. I'm on Xbox, so there's nothing fancy going on here. People say, Epic, your base looks so big. Are you using mods? It's just very useful and being mindful of the space of a base, basically, and putting everything in the right spot, you know, in my brain anyway. So right here we have the two vendors here. Like I said before, you can catch them just like pals. They're your own personal salesman. And the reason this base was made in the first place, again, for the breeding, is that you can buy items from these guys that allow you to make the cakes for the breeding boxes. I know this is getting a bit deep if you're new to this, but you'll get it eventually. So as you can see, this vendor sells milk, right? That's one of the ingredients for cakes. Milk, red berries, wheat that makes flour, and then eggs. They're the main ingredients, but they don't sell honey, right? So the main purpose of this big tower was to make a beehive, basically, a glass beehive. So the honey would just keep on coming out. And if I'll show you right now, you can see that they're starting to drop that down there. I've got chickens up there too, and cows at the moment. But usually there is crazy amounts of honey all the time. So you can make perpetual cakes. When I started this build, I wanted it one level, besides the beehive. I wanted it one level so it was easy for people to build from the get-go. But now they've built that, I figured that we could turn up the heat a little bit and start to go vertically, again, like we have before with castle builds. So the other things this base has, besides starting from the beautiful vendor shop, which I think is beautiful with this lovely interior, you can see the whole tutorial on that, wrapping around here with all the pal beds, we can see the beautiful cherry blossom tree that I brought from outdoors to indoors, that sort of covers the bedroom. The whole bedroom was sort of designed with this tree in mind. You can see that there's a light that sort of wraps around the tree there, little table and chairs, which are, you know, actually useless, but they look nice. You know, take a screenshot of that while I'm here. And so then we have under here, obviously the breeding pen. We have a couple of mining node things there. There's stone and there's coal there. There's a crusher machine there which turns the stone into pallium fragments. There's a couple of these things here. That is just purely for aesthetic purposes, just to break it up a little bit. So up here we have 3. We used to only have 1. We now have 3 tier 2 ore sites. So we've already got 1,000 in this one. We'll just grab that. We'll go over here and grab this one. There's already 1,000 in that. They just go on. And then it's very handy to put like a chest over here to grab it. The one at the end's probably got the same too. And down the end is a sulfur mine there. So it's this one's got 1,200. So that pops off indeed. And you can sell that ore straight to those vendors. So you can get the materials to make those cakes for the breeding pens. So you make the cake, you put them in the breeding box, this box here. And then that's how the eggs appear. So you put your breeding pair in there, you put the cake in there, and then they breed, basically. So it's got a two-pronged approach to making the materials and also making items to sell for materials for those cakes. So let's just jump over here very quickly to the kitchen and have a look here. We can make 5 of those. So having a look at what the materials are to make the cake, we can see that we need more flour, which is fine. So that's what this new sort of iteration of this base is the flour, the wheat fields. So we're going to jump over here and grab that, make some flour. There's berry patches there, etc. All right, so we're going to have a little quick tour of the hive. We have a fridge there to keep everything cold. We've got Pen King there. Pen King does many things, but right now he's just sort of minding this fridge. We have the first level of the beehive. We have the second level that's got the chickpeas there. More eggs in this one. We've got some milk in this one, some honey in this one, crazy honey in this one. Then we've got some more honey in this one. And then we've got more honey coming in this one. Then we have the cows and more. And then we start to have up here the sort of chill out zone. And the chill out zone has hot springs and pal beds and everything like that. And that is right at the very tippity top that overlooks everything beyond. This is a really nice location that I chose specifically for these waterfalls. It's also got a dungeon down the bottom. But yeah, so these top 2 tier levels are explicitly for them to sleep and to chill out, etc. So that being said, over here we have what was already existing in 3.0, 4.0, which is all these. We've got the furnaces, the electric furnaces, the monitoring stand, the other benches here, the repair bench, etc. The new addition, and besides all these things which were in 4.0, is this absolutely stunning garden area, which, you know, in the past I'm like, I don't need a garden, we can just buy all the materials from the vendor. The garden area is absolutely beautiful. It features not only all the materials that you need, so we've got a lettuce spot there, we've got the tomato plantation there, we've got 2 logging camps here also, but also having the lettuce and all the things that you need for the cake, but also the stat food too. We've got this beautiful little feature of the statue. If you don't know what this is, the statue you use to enhance your player stats by using those lift monk effigies, those little green dudes that you'll see in the game. But also you can enhance your pals by using those pal souls. They've got like a blue one, a magenta one and a yellow one. And you can upgrade your pals by using those too, not just by that essence machine. So we've got planting happening over here. We've got that other pal breeding farm over there. Let's just jump in here. Eggs everywhere. We've got the 2 power generators there with these guys, which is nice and lovely. And let's have a little bit of a flyover with Jetrag in here. Up here we have the breeding farms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of those, 3 tier 2 iron ore nodes. We got to go to sleep, but it's all lit up really beautifully. There's a special light that I've placed in here that makes it kind of light up like the Emerald City, which is really cute. I'll show you the pals that I've got working, which is pretty essential for this base. You can fill up 50 spots very, very quickly. But jumping over here into the pal box, and I'll explain why I've got what I've got. Pal box we have at the moment, we have the bee guards. So they're making all the honey, right? So once we get a crazy amount of honey, a crazy amount of cakes, then we can chill out on them and start to put the breeding pals into there. We could chill out now if we want to. Right now I've got Patalia there. Patalia's just doing a lot of gardening at the moment, both of those. We've got the cows there just for extra sort of passive milk. We've got the pricksters there because they're just doing some wood chopping at the moment. We've got the chickpeas there just for eggs. We've got 2 bushies there. They're just doing full woodwork, logging. We've got the 2 vendors. We've got 4 of the Ozarks. They charge the power. We have 2 Penkings, so one's keeping that fridge cold. We've got Jormuntide, which is the most amazing one to do kindling. So whenever you're doing ingots or cooking, he just cooks them straight away. And the Astragons are all the ones that are up doing the mining, the ore mining up the top. So as you sort of go, you can chop and change as your materials come. So we could get rid of a whole bunch of wood guys pretty soon and start to fill up those breeding pens, no problem at all. So you could build, there's no point to build even more vertically than what we have because it's at its maximum capacity already at the level that it is. You could probably shave a few levels off this tower, but everybody always wants to have their pals to have, a sanctuary and have their beds, etc. So the top 2 levels of those are explicitly for that. You could put them down the bottom. They do teleport because they're big boys. They will teleport up to the hot springs. No problem at all. There's some more beds over in this little secret spot above my bedroom, your bedroom, my bedroom, over there. But I really like the contrast between the glass and also the wood, especially the final touches that I put to this beautiful sort of greenhouse to have these vines that is, placed on the glass, but there's also vines on the outside of the glass too, and lighting too. So at night time, the lighting is like a proximity lighting. So as soon as you sort of go up to it, it will light up. If you're away from it, it does not light up, which is very neat. It's sort of like a little trigger point. But here in the spot, we've got the medicine workbench, which they'll need. We can see a depressed and 2 sprains up the top right section. And it's just really a beautiful build. It's aesthetic. It's incredibly purposeful. If pals do get... If it says that they can't get to it and they're going to work in place, that's fine. Sometimes if you've got Astragons with their booties hanging out and you've got another one coming up the stairs, you don't need to build more stairs for them to get to it. They're still going to do their job from where they are. So we don't need to build, 10 levels worth of stairs just so one Astragon can go, rub himself on the ore. It's not necessary. They just do it from where they are. So, for example, that crushing machine there, we could have a Jormuntide, the water Jormuntide over here, and he could be doing the watering from the other side of the base. They don't need to actually touch it. The only time that there's an issue with touching things and not being able to function, it sounded very odd, is that if you build on a proximity line, if you build on the base perimeter, and the pals might get stuck there, or they might not be able to mine there. Sometimes you might put a rug down. You think, oh, that's a cute rug. I'll slap that down. And you might not be able to get a vendor to go to his sandbag. And that's because of a silly little carpet. It can be as simple as a pot plant. So you just need to have a look at where they're supposed to be going to and why they can't get there. And it can be the most smallest thing you could possibly imagine. It could be literally the corner of a cupboard. So keep that in mind if your dudes aren't going to the right spot. There's no reason why they shouldn't if there's nothing in the way. So it's, as I said, it's a beautiful base. Be very mindful about having logging characters in there because they'll chop your beautiful cherry blossom trees down. And we don't want that. And you can control what they do through the monitoring stand anyway, which I'll make another tutorial just about that for newcomers. But if you're new to this, don't be overwhelmed. Slow and steady wins the race. If you just jump straight to the 4.0 build, then you'll be right as rain because that doesn't include this massive tower. It's just all basically ground level except for a little bit of a tower. And it doesn't include all this crazy, mining stuff. So absolutely don't be overwhelmed. All the tutorials are step by step that I make for these. So it's not like, oh, okay, so just put 6 down here and then it's not like that. They're literally, I build square by square, and I know that most creators don't do it because it is incredibly time consuming and quite difficult to sort of make it, deconstruct it, and make it again a lot of the time. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you enjoy Palworld as much as I have. Leave a comment below if you have any improvements or suggestions. But that's as good as it gets, I think. No need to improve it any more than that. So we'll have a little flyover for the final hurrah. And who thought we could improve this more, huh? I love and leave you. Have an amazing day or night. Until next time, thank you for hanging out and supporting the channel.